Okay, this is Attorney Nate Amendola, criminal defense attorney in Massachusetts. The series here is Criminal Defense in Plain English, and the question today is, what is the statute of limitations for a sex crime in Massachusetts? Understand that the statute of limitations is a law that restricts the amount of time between the commission of a crime and the filing of the charges, okay? And so if that limitations period has expired, you can file a motion to dismiss, or the case is just cannot be prosecuted. These are really fun to litigate. I've litigated a bunch of these. Prosecutors and courts goof this up all the time. So, all right. So I know I said to do this in plain English. The statute in Massachusetts dealing with this is General Law, Chapter 277, Section 63. I might read from this a little bit, but here's what you need to understand. In general, okay, the statute of limitations on a crime in Massachusetts is 6 years, okay? Sex crimes are a little bit different. Not all sex crimes, but many of them are, okay? So here's a good way to think about it. If it's a sex crime against a child, the statute of limitations in Massachusetts is essentially unlimited. You heard that right. If it's a sex crime against a child, in general, the statute of limitations in Massachusetts is unlimited. So this is the way it reads. An indictment or complaint for an offense set forth in section, and then it lists a bunch of the sex crimes for children, may be found and filed at any time after the date of the commission of such offense, but any indictment or complaint found and filed more than 27 years after the date of the commission of such offense shall be supported by independent evidence that corroborates the victim's allegations. All right, in plain English, what does that mean? If it's a sex crime against a child, the statute of limitations is essentially unlimited. It can be filed at any time after the commission of the crime. But if the alleged offense was committed more than 27 years after the filing of the complaint, the charging instrument, the charge must be supported by something other than the victim's own statements or what the victim said happened. There must be corroboration. I've just litigated something like this. It was very, very interesting. So what's the corroboration? If it's been more than 27 years, there may be a first complaint witness needs to testify, or there needs to be some evidence of the first complaint. By the way, the first complaint doctrine in Massachusetts is an exception to the hearsay rule. And so basically what can happen is if it's allowed into a trial, usually is, the Commonwealth can introduce evidence that corroborates what the complaining witness is saying. So the first person that the victim told about the sexual assault can usually come testify and say, hey, this is what the victim told me. Now, not as for the truth of what happened, but more to support or to give credibility to what the complaining witness is saying. So, again, if the commission of the crime happened more than 27 years after the filing, it's got to be supported by corroboration. Okay? Now, this is for sex crimes against children. Generally speaking, other sex crimes perpetrated against adults, like rape or something like that, is generally 15 years. Okay? And there's no corroboration requirement. And then something like an indecent assault and battery on a person over 14, so just an indecent assault and battery, that's 6 years, okay? So there's really three things you got to remember. If it's a sex crime against a child, statute of limitations essentially unlimited, but if it's filed more than 27 years after the purported commission of the crime, must be supported by independent evidence of corroboration. And most other sex crimes, rape, things like that, 15 years, and then indecent assault and battery, 6 years. So there's sort of a range, forever, 15 years, 6 years. A little confusing, but that's a good way to think about it.